Hello and welcome to the Review of Champions. Today we're going to talk about the latest outing in the oldest pop culture franchise, aka the James Bond franchise, No Time to Die. With me is TaylorFirst. Before we start, I would like to ask you all to hit that like and subscribe button and maybe join a forum on cigar.freeforums.net. It's a nice forum. You sign up, you can become a champion, and if you want, you can be on the podcast or review. We're open to everyone, so please make sure to check it out. We're going to talk spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, go check it out and come back to the video. So we're going to talk about No Time to Die. Well, Taylor, let me hear some quick thoughts from you. What did you think of the movie?
Overall, good movie. Very good. I like the action. They definitely planned ahead for it being Craig's final Bond movie, and they made it that way. They made it the final Bond movie. We'll talk about the specifics, I'm sure, as we go along. But overall, the story was pretty good. Too long. It didn't need to. And we can talk more details about that as well. But definitely in the middle, if not at the top of the Craig Bond movies. So good.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. When I came out of the movie, I was thinking, is this my favorite Bond movie of the Craig area? And actually asking the question already said it's a top tier Bond movie for me. Because I love the Daniel Craig movies overall. Casino Royale, Skyfall, well, everybody agrees on those. Those are two of the very best of James Bond. Well, I don't hate Quantum of Solace by any means. I actually very much enjoy that movie. I'm not too keen on Spectre. I like some aspects of it, but when I saw No Time to Die, I was like, yes, this is a typical Daniel Craig era James Bond movie, which I absolutely liked. There are some controversial things in it. I was wondering if all the fans would appreciate that, but to my surprise, actually, there's been really not much backlash on it. So I'm really happy with that because I really enjoyed the movie. So did you see any specific likes or dislikes in the movie which you can elaborate on?
Well, see, here's my thing, all right? And just to make this conversation interesting, I like the Craig Bond movies as movies. I like them very much. I don't like them as James Bond movies because they're not James Bond movies, okay? They're just not. They made a lot of decisions that prevent them from being James Bond movies. And I can give you a long list. I don't know how long we want to do this for, okay?
Oh, give me some of those.
Okay, for one thing, he never seemed to want to be 007. Right? He seemed to have been forced into the job and spent the next 4 movies trying to get out of the job. And now he's retired by the time this movie even starts. That's not James Bond 007. James Bond 007 loves what he does. Number 2, James Bond gets by largely on his charm as much as on his skill. This guy cracked a smile maybe twice in 5 movies. He was not charming in any way, shape, or form. He was brooding. James Bond is not Batman. He should not be brooding all the time, okay? Number 3, we'll get to this movie right here. He died at the end. James Bond doesn't die, okay? James Bond changes actors. They don't die.
He died also in Casino Royale. For a brief moment, he died in Casino Royale.
Yeah. He was alive at the end of the movie. All right? Yeah. That's okay. So there's that. Next, they seems like they didn't always know what they wanted to do with these movies. They knew what they wanted to do, but they also knew they had to do some other stuff as well. So you see it often in these movies where, oh, we have to do some classic Bond stuff, so we'll just kind of throw it in there, ham-fisted, half-hearted. For example, Which one was it? Skyfall. I believe it starts with Q. And by the way, Q, he's just a hacker in this series. He's not Q. All right. But in Skyfall and Q at the beginning, he gives them a gun and a radio, and he's like, "What did you expect? An exploding pin? We don't do gadgets and stuff like that." And then halfway through the movie, all of a sudden, Bond from out of nowhere has the Aston Martin with all the tricks and gadgets built into it. Well, where did that car come from if Q didn't make it for him? Okay. No. And then that same car showed up again in this movie.
Yeah.
When he's retired, he's got a tricked out Aston Martin with a bunch of gadgets and stuff in it. So where is this stuff coming from? And then in Spectre, Q gives him an exploding watch and doesn't tell him it's an exploding watch or how it works. Seems like a safety violation in my book. It's like, oh, the alarm's a bit loud. Oh, well, that doesn't tell me anything, Q. Is it a sonic device? And yet somehow Bond knew that it was a bomb and knew how it worked when he needed it. But that was only one of the problems with Spectre. Spectre had some other bad decisions made. Don't hate that movie either. It was fun. But yeah, Blofeld and Bond being stepbrothers or something, that was just painful. Okay, so again, love the Craig movies as movies. Don't love them as James Bond movies. And I'm a huge James Bond fan. I've seen every single James Bond movie in the theater from the time I was old enough to decide what we were going to see in the theater, which was Moonraker was the first one I saw in the theater. I've seen every one since then. I, of course, had already seen all the others on TV. So again, good movies, well written, well produced, the special effects, the action, set pieces, all awesome. Oh, here's another one. There's supposed to be hot chicks in Bond movies, supposed to have hot Bond girls. So let's stick Ana de Armas in this movie for one scene, but we'll put her all over the trailers so people think she's actually in this movie and actually does something in this movie, which she didn't. All right. Now, another problem I have with this specific movie, which is not a big problem, the black female 007. She was there for no reason other than to be the black female 007. She didn't do anything in this movie. She had no character arc. She contributed nothing. All she did was give Bond the stink eye through the whole movie. All right. She flew the plane. Bond could have flown the plane. And then when they got on the ground, nothing happened. All right. So I thought it was a very poor use of that character. I didn't have a problem with that character being there. A new 007, a black female. I had no problem with that at all. But give her something to do. She literally did nothing.
Yeah. It was just like she was there to maybe even get people talking about it, and then they don't use it. They don't use her. Yeah, I think if she were a full valid 00 agent, then it would have been much better. And I think it would open some possibilities even for that studio, but that's another discussion. We will keep that out. Well, I actually really enjoy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I actually really enjoyed the movie. I don't have your problem with the Daniel Craig era movies as James Bond movies, because I think the books were written in the 1940s, 50s. 60s, and that was a different time, different era. The movie started running in the 1960s, the franchise, and that was also, of course, a different era. And we are now in a different time. Like I think 90s Star Trek doesn't work now anymore, so they changed it up. They also did that with James Bond, and I'm fine with that. The world evolves, the world changes, perceptions change, and I guess Hollywood, or in this case the British people who produce James Bond, adjust to that, adapt and adjust. So their franchise, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine. But I had some other issues. All of a sudden, Bond has a daughter. How is that possible after what they did to him in Casino Royale? That immediately came to my mind. I mean, I'm pretty sure those acts didn't work anymore as properly as they should be. But So you're telling me Bond can die, but that stuff doesn't affect him at all? I don't see that happening. The yeah, I didn't mind that he died at the end, but I was shocked actually to see that happening. And the reason why is a bit bizarre. They gave him basically a family, and then because he can't be with the family, he decides to commit suicide, bondicide, if you want to say. So to me, that was a bit strange. He could have been his 007 still, but apparently they want. I mean, he just goes back to do what James Bond needs to do, all those things you just said. And I agree with you that Daniel Craig was a different kind of Bond than all the Bonds that came before him. Especially when it comes down to the charm aspect and the sophistication. He was like the previous M said, a blunt instrument, and he lacked a bit of subtlety, which I actually like in the James Bond. I like him going to casinos or presiding among the jet set of Europe or America, the Greg Bonds lack a little bit of sophistication. And I absolutely agree with your gripe about Ana de Armas. I think she's an amazing actress. She's absolutely gorgeous, and yeah, they basically used her as a poster girl, and that bothered me also about the movie. But overall, I think it's one of the better James Bond movies in the Craig area, and one of the better Bond movies overall. Yeah, so that's how I see it.
What do you think's going to happen next? You know, at the end of the credits, it said James Bond will return. What do you think?
Well, they're gonna get a new Bond, and they're gonna do a soft reboot, like they did with when Daniel Craig came in. So they keep the side characters, and they slowly replace them during the era of the new Bond, and then that Bond will go away. We will have new side characters which will live on. I mean, the first Moneypenny also survived Sean Connery. So
yes, oh yeah, the first Moneypenny was in multiple Bonds. The first Q was in like 5 or 6 different Bonds.
The first Q even you went up to Pierce Brosnan. So I mean,
yes.
It's not that strange. They replaced him with John Cleese at the end, but
can they do that this time when he's dead? Can he have the same? Can we have the same M?
Yeah, well, I mean, Blofeld has died 7 times, I think, in the Bond franchise. So
they didn't see a body. Didn't see a body.
No, but normally speaking, and yeah, I don't.
That also gets to my point, though. The previous Bond movies were fun, pulpy, fantasy, spy stuff. These ones try to be more grounded, more gritty, and that's fine. But if you're going to do that, you can't have it both ways. You have to then have the serious consistency, and you don't get a pass on continuity and stuff like fluff, adventure, pulpy movies get a little bit of pass on that because they're not trying to be serious. But if these are going to try to be serious, then they've got to have the continuity and consistency to go along with it.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it's a bit. They wanted a bit of both worlds, and
yeah, exactly.
That's never a good idea. And I don't know if they're going to go back to what they did before Craig. I don't think so. I think they're going to repeat what they did with Craig with a new Bond.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll work as well.
It depends on who they get and what the direction is they take him in. If they make him a charming man again, then it could be a whole different vibe that's surrounding those movies than what we have had for the last 16 years or 17 years. When I don't know exactly when Casino Royale came out, but it's about 15 years ago. So the change it could change only by the actor and his style. I mean, we have seen that before in Bond. I mean, Sean Connery was funny, but not comedical, if you know what I mean. Roger Moore was very comedical. Then it became almost comedies.
Yes, at times his movies were very comedy heavy. Not all the time, but at times some of them were. But yeah, you're right. So what I'd like to see is bring in a new actor, keep the same type of effects and the same type of tone as the Craig Bonds, but make him charming, make him love what he does. Don't make him have to go rogue all the time, because as far as I'm concerned, that's just a distraction from the actual story of Bond versus the villain. Make it Bond versus the villain, okay? And have some charming women in there, some charming, smart, intelligent, strong women. I'm all for that. But still, 007 is the star of the movie.
Yeah, but I think they reduced the amount of charming women to put the amount of Bond girls, just because they think it's how you say. Not of this age where one charming man can seduce every woman and stuff like that. But he doesn't have to sleep with them. Just put him in a movie.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm okay with him not necessarily seducing all of them. Charming them is different from seducing them. And
like he did with Ana de Armas in this movie. I forgot the character's name. That was actually perfect.
Yep, they work together, and I don't have a problem with him. Say there's a woman, because one of the Bond tropes is a woman that works for the bad guy, who Bond is able to swing to his side in one way or another. He can do that without sleeping with her. There's ways of convincing a woman to change sides. I don't have a problem with that, but what I want is I want him to at least look like he's having fun. I want him to look like he loves what he's doing. And I want the villain to look like they're having fun too. I don't want the villain to be, the Joker from Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I want him to be a maniacal, crazy person who's trying to do some insane plot to take over the world. Which is insane, but it's dangerous.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, I think we unpacked what we need to unpack. We both liked it, but we also have some critique, and that's good. Well, let's rate it. What would you rate James Bond? Or you want to look it up first?
Now I think I remember. I believe I gave it an 8 out of 10. Good movie.
Well, I actually agree with you. An 8 out of 10, which is a perfect, good, great rating for a movie, I guess. Yep. Well, that wraps up our review for No Time to Die. Before we finish, I would like to ask you all to hit that subscribe button and notification bell on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, like our Facebook page. Join the forum on Sakar. That way you will never miss us, and we won't have to miss you. Thank you, and see you next time for our next movie review. That's going to be Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Bye.